Chapter 9. My grip tightens on my food tray as I stand in the hallway outside the cafeteria. Sadie and Doc sit at our usual table under the covered patio area. Only a few other students eat nearby. It isn't as cold as it was earlier this morning, but most kids are still choosing the warmth of the cafeteria. With a heavy sigh, I slowly walk toward the table. My head throbs with every step. The pain started after the nightmare in world history class and has gotten annoyingly worse. It's totally weird and spooky, Doc says as he swings his arms excitedly, and I'm so here for it. He hits Sadie's water bottle. Glaring, she grabs it before it can tip over and places it safely out of his reach. What's weird and spooky? I ask nervously. Doc scoots his chair over to make more room for me. Did you hear about the kids from a couple of neighborhoods away from us? They're saying they were kidnapped by a monster and sent to a world of fears. It's all over the internet. I vaguely remember something about that. Several kids went missing after playing hide and seek. That can't be real, right? I gingerly lower myself into my seat. They just ran away, and that was their cover story. Sadie hands me a small bottle of hand sanitizer. I absently take it and rub the liquid on my palms. They made it up for sure, she says scoffingly. Doubter, says Doc, slurping his water. That kid Justin has stuff posted on the internet that sure sounds believable. Justin? I asked, frowning. That was the name of the boy I saw this morning on his bike. We had that weird interaction. Can't be the same kid, right? That'd be a creepy coincidence. Sadie scoffs. Doc, you can't believe everything you read online. You don't even know if that's his real name, and monsters aren't real. Doc gasps. Take that back! Horror movie ideas come from somewhere being real life, and I believe in the super and the natural, so of course they're supernatural. We stare blankly at him. I don't follow his logic on my good days, and this is not a good day. Convince me otherwise, he says, crossing his arms. I'm waiting. You have such a crazy imagination. Scary stuff like you're talking about can't happen in real life, Sadie says with a little laugh. Well, let me tell you what did happen in real life. Doc points his fork at me. Shane fell asleep in class and had a nightmare. Sadie's head whips towards me. I groan. How did you hear about that? Travis. I was on my way to my locker after English and heard him telling some of the other players on the team how you freaked out about something. Great. It'll definitely get back to Coach now. You fell asleep in class? My sister asks, her expression clouded with concern. Yep, Doc answers before I can respond. Travis said he was freaking out and waving his arms all over. I glare at Doc. Sorry, he says sheepishly. Just so you know, I told Travis to stop talking behind your back. I guess that's something. Thanks. You're welcome. Doc looks longingly at my chicken nuggets before shoving a piece of lettuce from his salad into his mouth and chewing angrily. I have a question. Man, how'd you fall asleep? I've tried and can't do it. Those desk chairs are so uncomfortable. Well, we were watching a documentary on the Middle Ages. The lights were out, and Doc holds up his hand. Enough said. It was a setup. Yep. See? He gets it. Sadie toys with the straw in her water bottle. She has a thing about drinking straight from the bottle. You had a bad dream last night and one in class. She'd really freak out if I tell her about the drawing and hallucinations. Doc's eyes dart between me and Sadie. Is this a big deal? Nope, I say, yawning. I'm just a little tired, and the subject today was boring. That's all. My hand tightens around my water bottle. The plastic crunches. Okay, says Doc cautiously. Legitimate reasons, but I get the feeling I should be concerned. The table falls quiet. The heavy silence pricks my skin. I lower my gaze to my tray and pretend I don't feel them watching me. I stare at my oddly shaped chicken nuggets. My eyelids flutter, and my gaze blurs as my thoughts drift. Are these nuggets supposed to be different animals? That one could be a cow, I guess. Maybe a pig. Or a chicken. No, that would be strange. A chicken nugget? I think I see Shane. A hand lands on my shoulder. I jump as my glossy eyes swing to Doc. What? He jerks back his hand. You were swaying. Swaying? I blink sleepily and try to focus on what he's saying. I asked you about the nightmares, Doc says. I must have really zoned out. What about them? Are they, like before? He hesitantly asks. No! My response is quick and sharp. I really don't want to have this conversation again. I already told Sadie I'm fine. My voice is low and deep, almost a growl. His eyes widen, and he exchanges a troubled glance with my sister. And there's the look I hate seeing. Guilt. This is another reason why I don't need anything to be wrong and why I can't tell them what's happening. They witnessed the accident. They blame themselves. They shouldn't. I don't. Never have. But they feel how they feel no matter what I say. And those feelings are just another burden I carry. Come on, y'all, I say with a little laugh. I wince because it sounds so fake. So I'm having trouble sleeping. It's no big deal. This is not like when I was hurt, and you weren't just hurt, Sadie says softly. You died. And after, Doc swallows hard, his face pale. After the doctors brought you back, you were in a coma for a month. My jaw clenches. I know what happened. I lived it. Or didn't live it, I guess. I could never get that time back. I'm constantly wondering what happened when I was unconscious. There's a dark void in my life that haunts me. Doc's head tilts to the side as he studies me. So if this is different, why do you think you're having these nightmares? I don't know, but y'all are acting like having nightmares makes me strange or something. Everybody has them. I hide my clenched hands under the table. It doesn't have to be connected to the coma. We don't always have to go there. Several students turn in our direction. Only then do I realize my voice has risen loud enough to draw the attention of the kids sitting several tables away. I shift uncomfortably in my seat as my body temperature rises. I'm hot despite the cold weather. Sweat trickles down my back. Sadie leans back in her chair and stares at me through narrowed eyes. I exhale a slow, steady breath. Breathe. I need to appear calm. Being agitated with them will only make things worse. We just want to know how to help if we need to help, Doc says, toying with his fork. I don't need help. My legs bounce with frustrated energy. I do not want to be here right now. It takes everything in me to not bolt. It feels as if my control is slipping, and I don't understand why my emotions are rising and falling like I'm riding on a roller coaster. I peek over at my sister. She uses a finger to doodle a random pattern on the table as she stares at me intently. It's like she's drawing her thoughts. I know this is one of those times she wishes she could read my mind. I'm glad she can't. Like some other twins, at times we can feel each other's intense emotions. She said she felt my pain when I was hit by the car. That had to be horrible. It's good and bad being so connected to someone. You don't feel as alone. But there's also a lack of privacy. There are days when you just want to be alone with your troubled feelings. I don't want her to know when I'm hurting. My pain, it's personal. Sharing it makes me feel weak. The heavy silence falls over our table, and it makes my skin crawl. Just when I think I might scream, Doc blurts out, "Did you know not everyone dreams in color?" What? I'm thrown by a sudden change in conversation. One night when I was bored, I looked up dreams and nightmares, he says with a little shrug. I learned all this really cool stuff. And I sip my cold water, hoping it will cool me down. Get this. Doc leans forward, his eyes shining brightly behind his glasses. Supposedly, you only see the faces of people you know. I swallow hard, thinking about the faces of those gold statue kids. Should I know them? That's weird. He pops a chicken nugget in his mouth. And everybody dreams, even animals. Wonder what they see, Sadie mumbles. Animal stuff, I ask. She rolls her eyes, her lips twitching. Smiling is good. I hope I've convinced her not to worry about my nightmares. But she's probably just laying it go for now. And, Doc says, some people don't remember their dreams. I always forget mine, says Sadie. I wake up and know I dreamed something, but I never remember it. She looks at me. What about you? I don't remember everything, I muttered, not meeting her eye. One night, I watched this monster movie and dreamed about A chuppa yeti? Sadie sighs. I'm afraid to ask, but I have to. A what? Doc stares at her as if he's shocked by the question. It's what you get when you get a chupacabra, or a chupacabra, chupacabra, sorry, and a yeti. They make a chuppa yeti. I groan. I can't with you. Sadie throws her napkin at him. That's ridiculous. Only to those with no imagination. Doc responds as he easily bats the napkin away. He glances from the remaining chicken nuggets on my tray to his salad. I watch the internal battle play across his face. Finally, he grabs the nugget off my tray, wraps it in the lettuce, then pops it in his mouth. He smiles, seemingly proud of his decision. Protein and veggies, he says. Doc, I hesitate. You know you're good, right? Not unhealthy. He half shrugs. I'm growing the wrong way. What? I ask. He avoids my gaze. Wider, not taller. My jaw clenches. Who said that? I want names. Doesn't matter, he says, forcing a smile. I look the way I look. Sadie frowns, her gaze on Doc finding me. Her eyes skim over my scar. People shouldn't be judged based on how they look. It's stupid. It's what's inside that counts. Yep, true. But not everybody thinks that way, Doc says, fiddling with a piece of lettuce. He's right. Heck, I don't always think that way, especially with my scar front and center. Well, they should, Sadie says strongly. Sadie is always ready to defend and protect me, and Doc at any cost. I appreciate it, but it has to get exhausting. I want to be able to stand up for myself, be strong, not be someone people worry about all the time. I half listen as the heavy conversation shifts to some television show they like. I rub my tired eyes as my gaze, in slow motion, slides past our group, taking in my surroundings. The parking lot, the football field, the one-story brick building with science and computer labs, until my gaze lands and rests on the gym. Our flying lion mascot is painted on the side of a blue wall. My jaws are open wide to roar. But maybe it's yawning. Maybe it's exhausting too. Caw! Caw! 6 black crows glide through the air and circle above the gym before landing on the roof. They strut back and forth on the ledge, then slowly turn in my direction. They stand perfectly still if I hadn't seen them flying. I'd think they were statues. It's creepy. They tilt their heads left, then right, as if they are studying me, trying to communicate something. Sunlight hits their faces, and their eyes appear to be gold. Their beaks open wide, as if they're yelling, and I hear strange, soft whistling. I heard in my nightmare. The lullaby. My heart stutters in my chest. What do you think, Shane? My gaze jerks away from the crows to Sadie. Huh? Were you even listening to us? Sadie asks. I swallow the lump in my throat. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the crows dive off the ledge and fly closer, their big wings rowing across the sky. Their dark feathers are so shiny in the sunlight they appear metallic. I duck as they circle above where we are sitting before flying off with loud squawks. Whoa! Those were some of the biggest crows I've ever seen, Sadie says, staring in the direction of where the birds flew. Me too. I shakily push away my tray. The smell of the food suddenly makes me nauseous. Crows have really good memories, Doc says. They never forget a face. A shiver shoots down my spine as I search the sky, suddenly afraid the birds will return. They watched me like they knew me. We decided to go to the mall on Friday, Sadie says to me. You okay with that? I shrug. Yeah, sure. That's good. There's a sneaker store I'd like to check out. Cool. I need to swing by the bookstore. Doc tosses a napkin at a nearby trash can and misses. I want to buy some new art supplies, Sadie says. I guess we have a plan. I nod, but I can't muster up any enthusiasm. Suddenly the bell rings, signaling the end of lunch. I jump to my feet, anxious to escape. I'm growing more and more unsettled and antsy by the second. It's as if I'm not in control. My thoughts are spinning, and I don't know how to stop the confusion twisting me into knots. I'll see y'all later. I toss my trash and hurry away. Shane! My sister calls out for me, but I pretend like I don't hear her. Once I'm out of their sight, I skid to a stop and fall forward, my hands resting on my knees. "What's wrong with me?" I whisper. There's this heavy pressure resting on my chest. It's the fear, the confusion, the lies. "Get it together, Shane. Get it together." I inhale and exhale for several deep breaths. Just when everything was working out like I wanted, this, whatever this is, could mess everything up. I want to scream. It's not fair. I can't let some stupid nightmares mess up everything. I won't. Tears burn my eyes, and I angrily blink them away. A cold sensation spreads through my body, causing the hairs on my arms to lift. Deep in my soul, I hear a sinister voice whisper, "There's value in suffering and treasure in tears." That was a crazy lunch that they had. Join me for chapter 10.